Welcome back to another Tier That. I noticed that the Oscar nominations had been released, so I figured it'd be an awesome time to tier the movies that came out in 2024 that I saw. I was reading down a list of every movie that came out in 2024, and I also noticed I haven't seen a lot of those movies. There was a lot of movies on the list I was like, oh man, I can't believe I missed that one. Like Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Shadow showed up. Really should have watched that. Big fan of Shadow. Yeah, so I'm also pretty confident that I'm not going to have seen most of the movies nominated. So, no need to talk about the Oscars. We'll get right into the movies I saw. I don't know what to start with. Maybe we should start with the worst. So, Argyle was F tier. Argyle, it had a lot going for it, but they really blew it. The movie like started off real serious and turned into a comedy, which is really unfortunate because they had some really funny scenes going, like the scene where Henry Cavill and the guy that plays Justin Hammer, I'm sorry I don't know his name, and I only know his name in Iron Man 2, but when they are fighting on the train and they keep switching positions, great scene. Pretty much the only redeeming quality of the movie. Predictable plot, and not, it just wasn't great. The Fall Guy, however, was not predictable. I'm probably going to give it A tier. Movies don't get much better than The Fall Guy. Great cast, Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, and a really interesting plot that I did not think was going to happen when I sat down to watch it. We could very easily put Doom Part 2 as S tier. Best movie of the year, easily. Probably I have recently ranked my favorite movies, and Doom Part 2 is in the top 3. 4 if you count Doom Part 1. I thought it was a great conclusion to the Dune movie, and by golly, I don't know what else. I mean, beautiful, stunning visual effects that I don't think will be topped in the next 20 years. It's going to hold up just as long as Lord of the Rings with what it looks like, what a moving plot. Saw it twice. Second time was on an IMAX screen. Crazy. Anyways, I could go on for a while about Doom Part 2. So Madam Web, I'll give it C tier because Madam Web got a lot of hate for pretty good reason, but it didn't get a lot of hate for, I would say, the movie itself. The movie wasn't horrible. I just want to say that. And it probably is a C tier Marvel movie for that matter because it wasn't the worst, but it definitely wasn't the best. But it was interesting. I think the trailer even stayed true to what I thought it was going to be. I didn't watch it in theaters. I watched it on an airplane because I was like, well, I don't want to go watch that. But then I watched it and it wasn't as bad as everyone was making it out to be. Beetlejuice, I will give B tier. It was phenomenal follow up to the original Beetlejuice. I thought it stayed very true to its material, and I wasn't upset when I walked out that they'd made a sequel to Beetlejuice. So, I mean, I don't know if I can expect anything more than that. Juror number 2 was really good. I think here's the problem. I was sitting there. It was Christmas Day, and we were talking about what movie we should be watching. And for some reason, I was like, I've been recommended Juror number 2, so we busted it out. And it wasn't really a Christmas Day movie. It made me feel like kind of crummy on Christmas, but that's okay. It was a phenomenal movie. So I will give it A tier because it was really good. Very strong moral dilemma going on there. I don't know though. I think I'm gonna have to. Here's the problem. I'm gonna have to give it B tier because I really want to put Wicked in the A tier. Wicked was awesome. If you haven't seen Wicked, you got to see Wicked. Especially if you're like me and you've never seen Wicked. Period. I hadn't seen it on Broadway or anything. Didn't know the plot. It's crazy. Inside Out 2 was a cut and paste of Inside Out 1 with a few new characters, which is why it gets D tier instead of F tier because those new characters were quite funny and I enjoyed them a lot. The movie wasn't awesome. That's probably going to give me a lot of hate. But you know what? That's okay because this is my opinion and I would rather watch Madam Web again than Inside Out 2. Then we have Woman of the Hour, which was also terrible. I'd probably rather watch Inside Out 2 than Woman of the Hour again. So Woman of the Hour, okay, it does have a leg up on Argyle, though. I'm going to give it D tier. Woman of the Hour was actually a very beautifully shot movie. I just couldn't get over the fact that the plot wasn't really there. It seemed like they found it was like a dramatization of real events, and they did a really good job of portraying those events, and I really liked it. However, the plot of the movie didn't make sense. There was nothing stringing everything together. They just kind of threw several murder scenes together with a scene of a game show. And it feels like, they were like, okay, we got this true event about this game show. how can we make this into a movie? I don't think they had enough. So they probably should have made some more crap up. So I'm going to give a D tier. But then there's The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. I give that a solid, it's probably C tier. It was really good. Great Christmas movie. Hope I watch it again in the future for Christmas. It was really good. Now you might think that that's everything I saw, but I also saw The Phantom Menace in theaters in the year 2024 because it came back. You all know that I love The Phantom Menace. And I've also got to say that I did get to see it in theaters, so I'm going to have to give The Phantom Menace A tier because I've been dying to see that one in theaters for quite some time. And it was awesome. Awesome on the big screen. I don't know, maybe, yeah, probably, okay, yeah, fine. It probably belongs more in the B tier. But I don't know, Phantom Menace is pretty good. Anyways, those are the movies I saw in the year 2024. I'm ready to receive any sort of feedback that will be promptly ignored, but thank you anyways for your feedback. And I'll see you guys in the next one.